then that would work as well. But just generally speaking, whenever we set up our arrays, it's very common for programmers not to use less than or equal to, just to use less than, or just a single comparison, because technically it has like a very, very minor optimization, which I'm pretty sure the compiler will handle anyways. So it's up to your programming preference, but just know that that's just something that's a little bit more common. But that being said, we can set up our for loop. We can take advantage of that to be able to print out our values. We can also, let's go to the next part. We can also take advantage of this to print them backwards. So how do we print them backwards? So I know in the loops, we haven't really discussed moving backwards, but we can, right? So what did we say? Our counter is our starting point. Then we have the condition, which determines how many times to loop. How many times to loop. And then we have to alter the counter so that it eventually becomes false. Eventually is false. So we're going to do that same thing, but we're going to move backwards. So instead of going from 0 to 4, I want to start at 4 and I want to go to 0. So how do we set that up? So we could say 4 int counter equals, and I want to start at 4, but I don't want to say 4 specifically because that's the end of it. What did we say before? I want to use size somehow. So that's going to be size minus 1. And that's so we can have it a generic so that it works for other arrays as well. Because if not, you have to hard code it. And so this way it's now working for other arrays. So we're starting at 4. And then we're gonna skip to the third part, which is the alter the counter. How do we, if we're starting at 4, do I want to add? Am I going 4, 5, 6? No, I'm subtracting. So I'm going to say counter minus minus. And then what's the condition now? We know we're going to have our counter. We're going to compare it to what? So we want to continue while our counter is what? It's bigger than 0. So it's bigger than or equal to 0. So it's greater than, you can say greater than or equal to 0. You can do it that way.